Hello, Casper. Casper, I want to talk to the Colonel. Hello? Hello, Casper, are you there? Hello,
There is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission. We will control the horizontal. We will control the vertical. We can change the focus to a soft blur or sharpen it to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit quietly and we will control all that you see and hear. You are about to participate in a great adventure. You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind to the outer limits.
Uh-oh. Ketchup.
Oh! I wish somebody would invent a ketchup bottle that squirts where you aim it.
Mrs. Porter, I've got the next best thing. A new invention from Procter & Gamble. It absorbs like magic. It's called Bounty, the new paper towel that actually attracts moisture. Watch. See Bounty attracting, absorbing moisture. That's because it's more than just paper. It's made a unique new way from a special formula of 6 ingredients, spun into a wonderful new towel. Look again. Compare it to the leading towel. See how Bounty attracts, drinks, sucks up spills faster.
Sort of feels different, too, doesn't it?
Go ahead. Pop it.
Why, it even sounds strong.
No other towel is made like Bounty, in regular and jumbo size. Hurry, get new Bounty. It absorbs like magic.
His name is Warren Edgar Morley. For the past 6 months, he has guarded this gate from 8 in the morning until 6 at night, at which time he is replaced by another just like himself. These are the last few moments of his life.
Where that power fade comes from. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye.
You ever think of trying sleep instead of Benzedrine? You know, you might like it.
Brother, I've had some tough nuts to crack in my time. Thanks. Well, nothing like this. And to top it off, this guy's going to get himself killed right outside the base.
If he was killed.
What do you mean?
Well, he could have died from natural causes, you know.
It's a switch coming from a base security man. You fellows are usually suspicious of everything.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir. Colonel Butler phoned to ask the major to report to his office right away.
All right, Mr. Mayor, if that's the way it is. No sense in asking again, is there?
No, sir. There'll be no autopsy.
Come in. Oh, Major Cummings.
Is that for me, sir?
Yes, Major. I'd like to introduce Miss Barbara Griselle and Mayor Hawkins. Major Cummings.
How do you do?
Major?
If you don't mind, Colonel, I've made up my mind. It's all settled.
Just this one point. You know that our governments, Canada and the USA, have set up this base as a joint protection for our people.
We know that, and we've told you that we feel that the refusal of an autopsy, sorry, Miss Grizel, refusing to do it won't disrupt the effort.
Miss Grizel, Mayor Hawkins, I'm no parlor diplomat. I'm an army man. I'm straightforward, maybe even blunt. But I'm afraid I must use stronger methods of persuasion. You recognize this, Miss Grizel? It's your brother's notebook. He's made some very interesting notations. Major, take a look at this page here. What's it look like to you?
There's a timetable schedule.
You know what the time's indicated in each line? What is it?
The schedule of our takeoffs and landings.
That's enough to give me what I want, Miss Grizel.
You know, the Colonel's a nice guy, really, but, well, he does have his problems.
You don't have to apologize for him.
Well, I'm not. It's just that he has a job to do. A difficult one under the circumstances.
Please, I'd rather not discuss it.
Okay. I was only trying to...
Tried to what?
Oh, I don't know. I guess I was looking for a way to say well, I understand what you've been
Do you?
through. What the heck? I'm human. We're all human here. We're not monsters from outer space.
Well, thanks.
What for?
The lift and the words of comfort.
I wish I could do more.
I've no hard feelings, if that's what...
Well, I was, but not anymore. So long.
Control ready, sir.
Green Dog, this is Pyramid. Are you ready for Test Baker? Over.
This is Green Dog. We're circling quite easily at 40,000 feet. Standing by for Test Baker. Over.
Okay, Green Dog, commence Test Baker. Over.
Try starting out on the 500-mile range.
Set for the 500-mile range, Sergeant.
Master scope set at 500-mile range. Generator set. Position 6 Charlie.
Start scanning, normal speed.
Scanning, normal speed.
Increase scanning speed, 20 RPMs.
Scanning now, 20 RPMs.
Increase range to 1,000 miles.
Range increase to 1,000 miles, sir.
Steady on your sensitive control, number 3.
Right, sir.
Increase range to 1,500 miles.
Range increasing to 1,500 miles, sir.
Look steady now, Sergeant.
Right.
Hey, Sergeant. Increase to 2,000 miles.
Increasing range to 2,000 miles, sir. Range increase to 2,000.
Look, sir. Siberia. Increase range to 2,500 miles.
Range increase to 2,500, sir.
If we can keep this equipment working right, we can watch those Russians 24 hours a day right in their own backyard. We can spot any plane, any missile, anything that's airborne.
Image is fading, sir.
There it goes again. Same trouble. Green Dog, this is Pyramid. Check your equipment. Our image is fading. Repeat, check your equipment. Our image is fading. Over.
This is Green Dog. Our equipment is working okay. Over.
Signal's going on okay from here, sir. There's no drop in power.
Must be some interference again. There's no other answer.
We'll try increasing the power.
Well, sir, we're pushing the atomic plant as much as we can now.
We've got to lick this power fade. Tell them to pour it on.
Peterson. Well, Pete, this is Cummings, Master Control. We want you to give us everything you've got.
But, Jeff, we've already exceeded the design limit. Every time you take a test, you ask for more power. If I take any more of those rods out, the reactor's liable to get out of control.
Well, take some more out. We'll have to risk it. We've got to have more power.
Okay, it's your people.
Mine, too, probably. Remove 10 more rods from reactor number 3. Yeah, I know, but it's an order.
power's been boosted, sir, but still can't increase image further.
It doesn't matter how much we boost the transmitter power. It doesn't reach the plane. You know, it's almost as if the power were being drained off.
Well, we'll just have to keep working on it.
Yeah, and in the meantime, what new excuse do I give the Pentagon?
This is Green Dog. This is Green Dog. Standing by for instructions. Over.
Okay, Green Dog. Okay, Green Dog. Test Baker is completed. Return to base. Repeat. Test Baker is completed. Return to base. Over.
Roger and out.
Okay, Sergeant. Let's close shop.
Jacques Grizel's sum of good overshadows the other. What has he marked up in the ledger for good as against the ledger for bad? He was a good, generous man. His word of service. And now we consecrate the worldly remains of our beloved Jacques to the good earth from whence he sprang. Closer and closer.
Thank goodness the cows are getting used to them.
Aye. Are we eating soon?
It'll be ready in a minute. I just want to feed the chickens first.
What is it? What happened? Amelia!
Take a shiny object, breathe on it, and you can see your own breath. But you cannot see whether it's fresh and clean and pleasing to other people. If you want to feel safe, use Micron. Micron Oral Antiseptic, the most effective mouthwash you can buy to stop bad breath germs. Let's say these G's are the germs, breeding in your mouth and throat. Other mouthwashes reduce the number of germs, but moments later, new ones start growing back to threaten your breath. Micron is different. It not only kills germs on contact, but it keeps the number of germs much lower, much longer. It's been proved more effective hours longer than any other mouthwash, so you can feel safer hours longer with Johnson & Johnson's new Blue Micron, most effective mouthwash you can buy to stop bad breath germs.
My wife has a way with coffee.
I make it by the pot with instant Maxwell House, using this recipe. 1 teaspoon per cup, add water, cold water, heat just to a boil, and let it steep.
Great coffee.
Try it.
Instant Maxwell House. Now so much richer you can make it by the pot.
But Mayor Hawkins, you're taking a great deal for granted. There is absolutely no evidence pointing to radioactive fallout or radioactive contamination of any kind. Yes, we'll do everything we can, I assure you. Yes? Yes. Goodbye. In addition to our headaches with the Pentagon, we're now being accused of killing off the people in this town.
Perhaps they'd cooperate, sir, if we could explain more about our anti-missile programming, not the secret stuff.
You know that's impossible, Jeff. Come in.
It'll be rough if the town turns against us.
Sir, we began a complete investigation of the Adams farm, but the local constable, a man named Gibbons, told us to get off the place. Said it came under his jurisdiction and we had no business being there.
What kind of cooperation do you call that?
Well, they're nervous, upset. We've got to find out how those people died.
Well, suppose you get hold of the Adams relatives. See if you can persuade them to let us do an autopsy.
Yes, sir, I'll try.
Reassure them. Promise them anything. But get hold of those bodies.
I made a complete autopsy on both cases. Called Dr. Bradley in to check my findings, and our opinions concur. It's fantastic. On the examination of the skull of Mr. Adams, I noticed 2 small holes in the base of the occipital region here. They penetrated to the medulla oblongata, where the spinal cord meets the brain. I opened the skull to investigate and found this.
The brain, it's gone.
Yes. Sucked out like an egg through those two holes. That's not all. The entire spinal cord is missing.
But it's incredible.
It's as if some mental vampire were at work.
Where's the brain and spinal cord gone?
I'm a doctor, Colonel, not a detective. There's nothing like this in the books. Major Cummings had the best explanation so far. A mental vampire.
That's rubbish. Possibly some animal.
Colonel, I've lived in these backwoods all my life. And I can assure you there's no animal in these parts or anywhere else, for that matter, that could do that.
Maybe that guy Gibbons was right about the supernatural.
Well, whatever the explanation, we'll find it. We must find it. In the meantime, Doctor, I trust I can rely on your discretion.
Not to tell the mayor or the townspeople. Of course, I've got an overworked practice as it is, Colonel.
Thank you. Dr. Warren, I want you to get on the phone. Consult the top medical specialists, wherever they are. Captain, contact the best authorities. Tell them what the problem is. Find out what they have to say about it. Jeff, the townsfolk know you. Talk to them. Check on anything that seems to be extraordinary, no matter what it is.
Found something interesting?
Oh, I was just glancing around.
That's all right. Professor Woolgate was preparing these for publication anyway.
Oh, you correlating his material?
I do most of it. He dictates on this. I edit the tapes and prepare the draft manuscripts.
Some job.
But interesting.
The professor must be quite a guy. Thought control, cybernetics, all that stuff.
That's only half of it.
Strange, isn't it? Finding a man like that here in Winthrop.
In these uncivilized backwoods, I think you were going to say.
Well, I'm afraid so.
Well, the explanation is quite a simple one. Professor Woolgate had a stroke about 5 years ago. He's retired now.
Well, he still works.
And at odd hours.
Odd hours?
He thinks nothing of starting work at 11 at night and working until the small hours of the morning.
You know, the mayor mentioned that Woolgate was an authority on psychic phenomena. Is that still a hobby of his?
I don't know. If it is, he'll have Dr. Bradley after him. Dr. Bradley said no more overwork or excitement.
What about you?
What do you mean?
Well, don't you ever get some time off?
Well, sometimes. Hello, Howard. Come on in. Oh, this is Major Cummings from the base.
Yeah, I know. We've met.
Well, guess I'll be running along.
Well, you've only just been here a few minutes.
Oh, I was just passing on my way back to the base.
Quite a roundabout route.
The new airfield extension covers a lot of ground.
Too much for Winthrop's liking.
It must keep you pretty busy.
Yes, there's a lot to do.
I bet there is.
Come again?
You found that GI killer yet? You know, you'd be far better off hunting him down instead of tomcatting around here.
Busty.
Cut it out, the both of you. Come on.
So, let's hope I didn't break anything.
I think you'd better leave, Major. You've done enough damage for one morning.
Oh, nice, Sergeant.
When you tell me you haven't known me long enough. Yeah, okay. Okay, I'll see you later. How do you like that? She says we haven't been properly introduced, and she's a nurse.
I hope you made out better with the museums and stuff.
No, not a chance. They'll think I'm crazy. How'd you make out?
Listen, now, we've got work to do.
You're the guy who works after 5, remember, not me.
Now, wait a minute. This is serious. I want you to get me all the information you can on our Professor Woolgate. Everything he's ever written. Books, articles, everything.
Don't worry, I'll have this guy in junk by tomorrow night. So long, Mayor.
Well, hello. Nice to see you again.
I'm very busy.
Well, I'd like to see the professor.
Oh. Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Come in.
Professor Walgate, Major Cummings from the Air Base to see you.
Sorry to barge in like this, Professor.
Not at all. These days I welcome any excuse to stop work. Isn't that so, Barbara? Please take a chair, Major.
Oh, thank you. I came to see you about this business with the mayor.
Oh, terrible tragedy, really terrible.
I need your help, Professor.
Anything you say, just name it.
Well, this is the fourth death in the space of a few days. Not only are they terrible tragedies in themselves, but they're turning the townsfolk against us at the base.
It's just ignorance, my dear fellow. These people are simple, one might say, narrow in their outlook. Of course, the very secrecy of your activities doesn't help. This development of radar boosted by atomic power.
What gave you that idea, sir?
Well, there was a piece in the Atom Journal about your work on reactors. More than a year ago, I read somewhere about the new radar patterns. Of course, this territory's ideal for that kind of work. I put two and two together.
And made 5?
So we saved 4.5. But you don't have to worry, Major. What I surmise, I keep to myself.
Well, I hope so, sir.
Well, let me offer you a drink. Whiskey?
Yes, please. Straight.
Barbara.
No, thank you, Professor. I'll have the last chapter finished tomorrow.
That's fine. That's real progress. I've already begun on volume 2.
My mind is fairly buzzing with these strange words.
Just a few elementary ideas on the subject, Major, not so advanced as present-day developments.
I'll transcribe these while you talk. Excuse me.
That business of her brother, she was devoted to him.
Yes, it was a tough break.
I don't want to seem morbid, but did you see his face after he died?
Yes.
What was it like?
I have a reason for asking.
Well, it was an expression of complete horror. Fright. Almost insane, I guess.
What is it?
Did you get him?
What kid?
Okay, fellas, okay.
What is him?
No, just a false alarm, that's all.
As you said yourself, sir, the people here are simple and superstitious. Maybe they're not so wrong after all.
What do you mean?
Not supernatural, something unreal, something never seen by anyone before.
I can't accept that. I've always disproved such theories.
What is it then?
Nothing supernatural, I'm sure. I can't believe that. I'm a scientist.
You've made a study of psychic phenomena, haven't you?
I tell you, it can't be that. It can't be.
Professor, you know what Dr. Bradley said. Was it absolutely necessary to upset the professor?
It's nothing, Barbara. The Major and I were just having a quiet talk. I got dizzy.
Well, your quiet little talk is over, Major. First Howard Gibbons, now the professor. Do you have to go around making trouble?
You really believe that, don't you?
Well, I can believe my eyes.
I'm sorry, Professor. I didn't mean to disturb you.
No, not at all. Forgive me if I don't rise.
Yes, sir. Excuse me.
It's me, it's Burke!
Have you finished searching the quarry yet?
Yeah, the men are tired. They want to go home.
But they can't quit now. We've almost reached the air base.
Well, you better tell them they won't listen to me.
Okay, fellas, you spread out again. We'll join up at the Adams fence. Say, you hear something?
Yeah. Funny sound.
You take that buzz and I'll take this one. And if you see anything, shout.
You said not to let each other out of sight.
These paths run almost parallel to each other. We'll meet up a ways anyway.
The dawn's beginning to come up. Wait a little. We'll see better then.
Oh, we're close to the end. Now, come on, boy. Go on, fella. You take that one.
Where are you? Evans! Where the heck are you? Evans! Evans! Evans, where are you? Evans! Evans! Evans!
Hi. I brought the napkins.
Good. Everything okay?
Mm-hmm. Coffee ready?
Making it now.
You're kidding. Instant coffee for the Bridge Club?
Not any instant. Maxwell House. You make it by the pot. Recipe's on the jar. The only one I dare serve my guests.
Well, it's your party. Harriet, they raved about the coffee. Of course, I knew they would.
Instant Maxwell House. The one instant coffee good enough to serve your guests.
I think you should go home, Mrs. Gibbons.
No, I'm all right, Doctor. I'll wait here for my boy.
Don't worry, we'll find him.
Oh, where's Howard? Where is he?
We've searched everywhere.
Yeah, he just disappeared.
Oh, I don't believe it. He must be there. I'm going to look for him myself.
You can't go in the woods alone.
Oh, but I got to find him. I've got to find my boy.
You'd better see that she gets home. Get your wife to look after her. Have you searched the woods thoroughly?
We kept calling for him. If Gibbons is out there and still alive, he would have heard us.
No point in searching anymore. I reckon we ought to call a council meeting and decide what we're going to do.
Yeah, what about it, Bradley?
Well, let's get Melville. He's the deputy mayor. I suppose it's up to him.
Good evening. Everyone quiet, please. Now, you all know why we're here. We've had 4 deaths, and now our constable has disappeared. The cause of these deaths is still unknown. Everybody seems to have their own ideas, and they all seem connected with the new air base.
Now you're talking.
For this reason, I've asked Major Cummings to this meeting. He's going to help us in any way he possibly can. That goes for his commanding officer, Colonel Butler, who is very concerned about what's happened.
Cut out the soft soap, Melville. Let's get down to brass tacks.
All I know is, before this air base came here, we were doing fine. Now you and these Air Force fellows tell us that it's not radiation at all. Well, maybe you're right at that. I don't know. But forgetting about the deaths, how do you explain the change in quality of the cow's milk, even the quantity? Let the Major tell me about that.
Go ahead, Major.
Well, no one can make anyone believe something if they don't want to believe it. But it has been positively proven that there is no radiation affecting anyone in Winthrop. Not even the cows. As for the milk, I don't know enough about farming, but I would assume...
Rizal did. He knew his business.
And so do I. It was the noise of the jets that did it, nothing more. It frightened the herd. But I can tell you that the herd is normal again. They've got used to it.
Thank you. As for the deaths, gentlemen, we are equally at a loss to give an answer, and equally disturbed. Now, there's been some talk of a mad GI on the prowl. Well, this, I can assure you, is not true. We've checked and rechecked our personnel. We know how you feel, but we're trying to protect our countries from a guided missile attack. If you would only help us instead of fighting us.
It's all a waste of time.
Let's get rid of the base. We had no trouble before they came here. We'll have no trouble after they leave.
I think that's rather foolish,
It was terrible, Jeff. What could have happened to him?
I don't know.
Would you like a drink?
No, thanks. Barbara, I think Professor Walgate is involved in these deaths.
I don't understand.
No, neither do I. Maybe it's just a hunch, but his background, his training.
Oh, Jeff.
Look, Barbara, I've checked on Walgate. This research of his, somehow I think it ties in with what's happened here in Winthrop.
Oh, that's crazy.
Is it?
Better after I've told you everything. Maybe you can help me to clear up this ghastly business. But no matter what you do to me, remember those horrible deaths were beyond my control.
Go on, Professor.
For many years now, I have been working on a theory of thought materialization. The entire apparatus to give it the required boost is in my laboratory.
Laboratory? Didn't know you had one.
There were many things you didn't know, my child. If you had, you'd never have come here again. You can see it later. I knew I could never succeed on the principles of telepathy. I needed to stimulate my brain to the extent that I could detach thought from my conscious to give it a separate entity of its own. I concentrated on the simplest experiment, to turn the page of a book. I designed an instrument to create a sudden and powerful electrical boost to help me free my thought. But each application of the electric charge created a shock almost equal to electrocution. It made me ill. Dr. Bradley diagnosed exhaustion. He thought my illness was caused overwork in getting my papers ready for publication. He introduced me to Barbara Grisel. With Barbara as my secretary, I was able to satisfy my publisher and continue my experiments to materialize thought. For a long time, I persisted in this one experiment without success. Until one night. The lightning in striking the house gave my instruments a sudden violent charge of power. And my thought was free. Free to turn the page of a book. I altered the design of my equipment to generate these violent power boosts. But it was very dangerous, and I could only undergo each experiment after a long period of rest. Whenever I felt well enough to absorb the shock, I found no difficulty in moving small objects. Eventually, I developed a certain tolerance to the high voltages I used. But what I really needed for regular experiments was a new form of power. Something that was smoother, something that would flow through my brain without causing collapse. The new atomic plant at the air base provided me with this power. I devised additional apparatus that enabled me to divert a portion of the atomic power that was radiating between the ground station and the radar aircraft circling 40,000 feet above. It was power which I could control, and I learned how to amplify my thoughts without hurting myself. I was able to detach my thoughts, to allow them to work on their own. I began to divide a being into which the thought, once released, could enter and preserve itself for all humanity. I envisaged something akin to the human brain, with life and mobility, but without the limitations of man's body. I concentrated my entire thought on its creation. I succeeded, but like thought itself, it was invisible. That night I entered my laboratory to take advantage of a radar test, only to find the place in shambles. My equipment wrecked beyond repair. All of my notes about its creation and how I thought it could be controlled were destroyed. I knew now that I had created a fiend. There was no other explanation. I was helpless, but whom could I tell? Who would believe such a fantastic story? I could sense the presence of the fiend there in the room with me, growing more powerful with each succeeding day. My one desire was to destroy the thing, but I possessed no means of projecting my thought to do so. Then I could hear it. Was it possible that there were more than one? I was unable to stop them. They were now drawing power from the atomic station. Its intelligence had expanded, now knew how to make its escape, and then followed these horrible deaths in Gibbon's madness. I had to know what I had done. I had to see one of the bodies. I went to the mayor's tomb. I now know that I have created a mental vampire, a fiend that needs to drain the intellect to survive and multiply.
I'll get it.
Supposing you're right, Professor, how does it live?
How else but in the brains and nerve centers removed from these dead people?
Then where are they and why can't we see them? This is nonsense.
We're facing a new form of life that nobody understands. I believe it feeds on the radiation from your atomic plant, and that it's evil.
Professor, it's my opinion that the evil's all in your mind. You're in need of medical assistance. Oh, Doctor, I'm glad to see you're here. This man's become a raving lunatic.
Hey, what's going on out there? Hey, look!
Hello. Hello! Professor, what's wrong with your telephone?
Nothing should be the matter unless they've got enough intelligence to cut the line.
Jeff, I want you to get over to the airbase. I want emergency patrols.
He's dead. Now, give me a hand with this. Hey, quick, barricade that window.
Professor, have you got anything we can nail across that window?
There's some lumber in my laboratory.
I've got to get out. I've got to get out of this.
Pull yourself together and help me with this. What if he's locked the door? Oh, never mind.
Hey, Captain, give me a hand here. If we'd only see them, we'd know what to do.
Is there any way to make them visible?
Not that I know, unless it's a question of the amount of atomic radiation that's available.
Hello, Casper. Casper, I want to talk to the colonel. Hello? Hello, Casper, are you there? Hello? Hello?
always liked the good things in life. Good art, good book, good coffee. You know, I'm so particular about my coffee, I make it myself. Let me show you how. I make it by the pot, but using instant coffee, instant Maxwell House. It's so much richer now, it makes a really good pot of coffee. Only one that has this recipe. Use 1 teaspoon per cup. Add water, cold water. Bring almost to a boil. Let it steep for a moment. Now do it my way, see? You like it.
Instant Maxwell House coffee. And now it's got something new. Huskier flavor buds, crammed full of extra flavor. Spoon for spoon, these new Huskier flavor buds give you richer tasting coffee. Try it. Now, more than ever, this is the one instant rich enough to make a really good pot of coffee. Instant Maxwell House.
Gee, I almost got a bullseye. Let's see if he's that. What's this?
Oh, I never could beat Anne. Then we were on opposite sides in a toothpaste test. My side used Crest. Anne's side used the same toothpaste, but without Floristan. And that's when I beat Anne, because my side had 21% fewer cavities with Crest.
In similar tests, Crest reduced cavities 34% and 42%. You know, more dentists recommend Crest than all other toothpastes combined. So have regular checkups, watch treats, and brush after eating with Crest. Accepted by the Council on Dental Therapeutics of the American Dental Association, as signified by this statement and this seal.
Nice shooting, Anne.
Remember, the only toothpaste with over 12 years of tests that prove it reduces cavities is Crest.
I'm gonna get out of here, I tell you.
No. Melville, get a grip on yourself. Get a hold of yourself.
Why are they so quiet? Maybe they're going to leave us alone.
I doubt it. But they've just put out a burst of energy. Perhaps they need to rest. Colonel Butler.
Yes?
How long does it take to shut down your atomic plant?
Why?
If my theory is right, then without the radiation of which I was speaking, these things must die.
Good grief. What is it? What do you see? Let me through! Hey, Jeff, Professor, they're becoming visible.
Someone or something must have increased the power of the atomic plant. What have I unleashed?
That is horrible.
You can say that again. It all ties up with what Dr. Warren explained to us, sir. Look carefully. Now get those sidearms.
I'm sure it's the atomic plant. So long as it goes on, they will multiply. Getting stronger and stronger.
Well, we'll see about that.
Well, anyway, they're mortal.
There's only one way, shut down your atomic plant. Unless we shut off the radiation, we'll all be destroyed. Heaven knows how many others.
There's a dynamite shed between here and the plant. If I can get through, I can blow up the control room. If that's the way it's got to be. I'm afraid it is.
Jeff! Must it be you, Jeff?
Yeah, I know the control room layout. They don't.
Be careful, Jeff, please.
Yeah, and be sure and lock this door.
He can't go alone. He won't last a minute amongst those fiends.
It's too late, Professor. Anyway, somebody had to get through.
Then cover him as he leaves the house. And shoot straight, don't waste the shot.
You see him?
No, not yet.
You can't, Professor, you can't.
It's suicide.
Of my creation, perhaps I can control them. Give Jeff a chance. Lock it after me.
No.
That was a brave man.
But Jeff, what's going to happen to Jeff?
Take it easy now. I know that guy. If anybody can get through, he can.
It's been so long since Jeff left.
Captain. Let's get started. Doc, I'll send you some help over as soon as I get over to the air base.
Thanks, Colonel.
What about Jeff? He's been gone for hours. Jeff! I thought that...
It's okay, honey. It's all over.
The conservation of energy law, a principle which states that energy can be changed in form, but that it cannot be either created or destroyed. And this is true of all energy. The energy of genius, of madness, of the heart, of the atom. And so it must be lived with. It must be controlled, channeled for good, held isolated from evil, and somehow lived with peaceably. We now return control of your television set to you. Until next week at this same time, when the control voice will take you to the outer limits.
Now, a cigarette that's low in tar and nicotine, high in menthol flavor. New Montclair. Just enough in every puff makes every puff a pleasure. How much is just enough? Just enough menthol to please your taste. Montclair's new charcoal menthol filter does it. Charcoal granules that are both activated and mentholated release just enough menthol to freshen every puff, so every puff tastes as good as the first puff. What's so modern about Montclair? The answer is in Montclair's modern menthol flavor. Yet Montclair is surprisingly low in tar and nicotine. But the flavor's still there when you smoke Montclair. Just enough in every puff makes every puff a pleasure. Smoke Montclair, new from the American Tobacco Company.
Thrill to the awe and mystery of the hidden world in these coming episodes of The Outer Limits.
Listen, there's more to this levitation than just the physical. I'm really able to fly. Are you aware of that?
Ian.
Yeah?
Ian, we should test more. It faded and drifted. Like short wave. Then we lost the signal. It's gone, Ian. We don't know if it's alive or dead. Okay, don't do it.
The Outer Limits has been brought to you by Instant Maxwell House Coffee. Now so rich in flavor you can make it by the pot. Instant Maxwell House.
College is America's best friend, but our best friend is in trouble. Colleges are in deep.
Help.
Some face shortages.
Help.
In 10 years, applicants will double.
Help, help.
Yes, help. We must help our colleges. Help the college of your choice.
Thrill to the awe and mystery of the hidden world, The Outer Limits.
The contamination must be coming from them. The aft compartment. Isolate them in there. Every plant, every spore. I'll inform the base.
Listen, there's more to this levitation than just the physical. I'm really able to fly. Are you aware of that?
Ian, we should test more. It faded and drifted. Like short wave. Then we lost the signal. It's gone, Ian. We don't know if it's alive or dead.
The Outer Limits.